Tonight, campus uncertainty.
It's definitely a little alarming.
Questions over communication and student safety amid a police investigation near Western. Plus, the mayor's message.
That's the progress we've made. That's how we've shown that we're a compassionate community.
Josh Morgan's final State of the City address before the next election. And the power of a pill. London researchers and their cancer treatment progress.
Now you have a far improved immune response that can go out and attack cancer cells.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Investigators are on scene near Western University removing what they describe as chemicals with explosive potential that stems from a weekend arrest on campus, raising questions about student safety and communication. With the latest on the case and reaction from police experts and students, here's Rita Ismail.
The explosives disposal unit remained on scene today outside a home on Chesham Avenue near Western University as police continue to remove what they describe as chemicals capable of being used to make explosive devices. Police were led to the residence after a suspect was arrested on campus around 2 a.m. Saturday. Investigators say the individual was armed with a loaded handgun and attempting to trespass into one of Western's engineering buildings.
During the ongoing investigation of that, observations were made in the residence that created concern about chemicals that could be used to create explosive devices.
4 people, all in their 20s, are now facing charges in relation to the investigation. Neither police nor Western University would say whether the accused are students at the university. In a statement to CTV News, Western said its top priority is student safety on campus. But students we spoke with today say they weren't clearly informed and there was limited messaging.
I didn't get any emails from the school or communication about the break-in. I just heard about it through some friends, but again, very minimal communication, if any.
I think it was just sent to the people that had scheduled courses in that building. But I would have, as a student on the campus, I would have loved to have received some sort of email about that. It's definitely a little alarming. I feel like in Canada, that's something that we try to not be scared of most of the time, having a loaded gun.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I mean, they gotta really up the security, I think, here. It's especially there's all sorts of machinery, all kind of things in there if you take a stroll through there.
Meantime, police experts caution against jumping to conclusion as the investigation continues, adding that while some chemicals can have legitimate uses, the circumstances raise concerns.
Without a doubt, there are some lawful uses for chemicals. But you don't need a gun and do a break and enter to get them. So I think the issue is it's criminal, but what was it? Just drug lab type stuff. But the presence of explosives, that doesn't go with engineers and kind of doing any chemical type work. It reeks of something more.
Police say the investigation is ongoing and residents in the area can expect to see heightened police presence for an extended period of time. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
CTV News has reached out to Western University requesting an interview that was declined. Instead, school officials issued a statement which reads in part, Western special constables are always working to ensure community safety. They have some of the same authorities as London Police, with their authority covering Western University and its affiliated university colleges. Mayor Josh Morgan pitched an incentive plan today that could drop the price of a new home in London by up to $50,000. That's from his annual State of the City address, his last before this fall's election. Darryl Newcomb has more on his message and how it was received.
In his 4th State of the City address, Mayor Josh Morgan sought to define his political record, repeatedly referring to his past commitments.
So today is Accountability Day.
The mayor cited declining crime rates and response times in justifying the massive increase to the police budget 2 years ago. And while the number of homeless Londoners continues to rise, Morgan asked the audience to stand up to represent the almost 1,500 people who have been housed this term of council.
That's what we've done as a community. That's the progress we've made. That's how we've shown that we're a compassionate community.
At times, it was a campaign-style speech. Potential criticisms he could face when seeking re-election this fall were discussed head-on, like recent property tax increases.
We made record investments in libraries, transit, infrastructure, housing, and public safety.
He also pitched a new program to incentivize more new homes to break ground. Until the end of this year, new home buyers would not have to pay development charges if the price of the home being constructed is below $630,000. The city would tap into housing accelerator funds to cover 60% of the cost, and the London home builders would pay the rest.
If we're $20,000 to $50,000 off, that price tag can make a huge difference, especially someone qualifying for a mortgage.
We're going to try something new here. It's not going to help everyone in the city. It's going to help maybe 200 to 300 homeowners get into a home for the first time.
And while the mayor's address touched on a broad range of issues, it was what he didn't speak about, at least specifically, that led to some criticism afterwards. The executive director of the Old East Village BIA was disappointed that talk of core area revitalization seemed to focus on the downtown.
Everything that was talked about with initiatives was about downtown. We're dying in the Old East Village. We are absolutely dying. We are losing businesses. We have not got the street safety. We've had 2 homicides in the last 2 weeks. I wanted to hear some substance today. So honestly, I was disappointed.
When I say downtown and core area, that includes the Old East Village. And we've got a number of programs that we've initiated to support the Old East Village. And you know that we're always open and welcome with talking with the BIA.
Morgan's development charges incentive program will be considered by a council committee next week. Darryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The Great Lakes are rapidly freezing over, which could mean relief when it comes to lake effect flurries through the rest of the winter. However, as Scott Miller reports, that could also mean colder temperatures sticking around longer.
On January 14th, Lake Huron was almost a wide-open lake with about 10% ice coverage. By Monday of this week, Lake Huron was more than half covered in ice, a 45% increase in a little over a week.
We've seen this cold air really over the last 10 days has been significant in terms of freezing. So we've seen these numbers come up drastically.
Cold air blowing over the relatively warm and open waters of Lake Huron has led to a steady stream of lake effect flurries and snow squalls for Midwestern Ontario since really December. So now that Lake Huron is more than half frozen, will the lake effect flurries end?
So anytime you get the lakes freezing over, that will shut down the lake effect snow. Do we see this happening in Lake Huron? No, not yet, but we will see perhaps some of those lake effect snow bands change where they set up.
The Great Lakes as a whole haven't been this frozen over since 2014, sitting at 45% ice cover. Lake Erie is almost entirely covered in ice, which hasn't happened since 1997. Lake Huron hit 55% ice coverage this week, and there's much more cold weather on the way, with below average temperatures through at least the first week of February, and some of the coldest temperatures in decades coming up this weekend.
I know everyone looks forward to Groundhog Day because that's kind of like the day where we're like, okay, we made it. But in terms of the forecast, I really think that the cold has some staying power. So models up until about the second week of February are still showing temperatures below average.
Which is a double-edged sword. Colder temperatures freeze lakes, which at least curtails lake effect snow, but frozen lakes also leads to cooler temperatures inland.
As the lakes continue to freeze, we will see conditions getting even colder around the area because we won't have the lakes to moderate. So keeping a close eye for many factors, for the lake effect snow component, for the moderating of the temperatures in the area. So watching the Great Lakes freeze is definitely one of those things where it really has a major impact on the weather in this region.
In Midwestern Ontario, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Good evening, and of course the freeze continues over the Great Lakes today with temperatures well below normal and snow squalls continuing in Midwestern Ontario. Snow squall warnings tonight and through the Bruce Peninsula, Bruce County, as well as Northern Grey County, Southern Grey under a snow squall watch. Through the day today, we've been in and out of sunshine and cloud cover, flurries on and off at times, but some heavier accumulations expected to develop tonight in some of these squalls. So another 5 to 10 centimeters expected in parts of Midwestern Ontario. We're We're dealing with some bitterly cold wind chills. Today has been a frigid day across the area. Outside feeling anywhere between -17 and -20. As we head through the overnight, the wind chills feeling close to -25. But Environment Canada has dropped the cold weather alert, although Middlesex London Health Unit still a cold weather warning in effect, and warming centers are open in our community. Coming up in the extended forecast, we'll take a look at more sunshine on the way. Chance for flurries will linger, though, and snow squalls in parts of Midwestern Ontario. I'll put it all together for you coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. Canada's premiers are in Ottawa preparing for high-stakes trade negotiations with the Trump administration. With more on their focus today and their top priorities, here's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
It's going to be an exciting couple days.
The gathering of Canada's 13 premiers, a sign of solidarity as trade tensions thrust Canada-U.S. relations into a new, more unpredictable chapter.
You know, we talk about Canada true north, strong and free. Let us not allow other people to dictate to us how we govern.
We know President Trump's rules. There are no rules with him. So we need to focus on what we can do.
The premiers, even those who sometimes don't get along, sending a message of Team Canada unity.
We don't always agree on everything, but I think we've got a really solid base to start on.
The meeting comes days after the U.S. president threatened massive tariffs on Canadian imports, following the Prime Minister's speech in Davos declaring the old rules-based order dead.
If we are going to determine our destiny and become that leader in that middle power space, it is going to take us making those tough decisions, having those discussions like we'll have today on how we are going to allow that investment to flow, allow those industries that are creating wealth to expand.
One of the major topics on the agenda, provincial and territorial priorities for the upcoming CUSMA negotiations.
In any negotiation, there's on both sides, there's some people that are kind of out front with more bluster. We're certainly seeing that, particularly out of the United States right now. But I'm hopeful that below that, there are real and significant discussions happening and taking place. And I'm looking forward to kind of hearing from the Prime Minister on the status of those.
Discussions, the Prime Minister said today, are going well.
Relations are good. We have good conversations, good back and forth. There's a lot of work to be done for the review of CUSMA.
But that apparent optimism was met today by a threat from the U.S. administration.
I would not pick a fight going into USMCA to score some cheap political points. Either you are working for your own political career or you're working for the Canadian people.
Tonight, the premiers will sit down with the Prime Minister for a working dinner. The main meetings will take place all day tomorrow. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Federal officials are engaging with Meta, the social media giant that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, trying to get news reinstated on those platforms. Meanwhile, the parent company faces a lawsuit in the U.S. accused of deliberately addicting children with its algorithms. With more on what this could mean for local news in this country, here's Mike LeCouture.
Like many local newspaper editors in Canada, Charlie Senak's job got a lot harder when Meta stopped allowing news on platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
I hear it from our readers, too, who are incredibly frustrated that they can't find us on Facebook. It was a very quick and easy way for them to go and get their content that they want.
The Online News Act and Online Streaming Act have been called irritants by the Trump administration in trade discussions. Both laws compel U.S. tech giants to financially support Canadian TV, film, and music sectors. Instead of paying Canadian media companies for carrying their content, all Meta platforms blocked Canadian news on sites like Facebook and Instagram in 2023. Now, Meta wouldn't provide a comment about renewed talks, but did point to these comments in October.
News publishers place their content on our platforms because they get increased distribution, and then they can monetize the clicks that they receive as a result of that distribution.
Kern added that Meta was hopeful news could return to their platform. The Identity and Culture Minister says talks are preliminary.
Canada's door has always been open to have those discussions. We stand by the value of the two acts that make sure that platforms are doing their jobs and making sure people are getting fair dealings.
But even that is welcome news for CNAC.
If this does happen and we can post on Meta again, I think we'll be at a point where we can really start growing in even more ways than we already have, and with the added advantage of all the work that we've already put into it.
Last year, the Canadian government removed the digital services tax just to restart talks with the U.S. But it's unclear how far it's willing to bend with the online news and streaming acts. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
A CTV News survey of local police forces has determined not a single one is taking part in the federal government's gun buyback program. With more on their reasons for refusal, here's Brian Bicknell.
Owners of banned assault-style firearms have until March 31st to declare interest in the federal program, which offers compensation for turning guns into police or permanently deactivating them. Involvement of local police services is voluntary. London Police has opted not to take part, saying in a statement, "Our focus will remain where it has the greatest impact: illegal firearms, violent and repeat offenders, and the drivers of gun violence." Other area police services opting out at this time include Sarnia, Strathroy-Caradoc, Woodstock, Aylmer, Chatham-Kent, and St. Thomas Police, which said in a statement, "We're still evaluating our position." Strathroy-Caradoc Police Chief Mark Campbell chairs the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. He says local services simply don't have the resources to administer the program.
And more importantly, is it taking away from local priorities? Other policing programs that are, community members here are expecting us to continue to perform. And really that becomes sort of the tipping point, the basis of whether this program is as an administrative program, taking the place of something that is maybe more pressing for our community members.
Since 2020, the federal government has outlawed about 2,500 types of firearms on the basis they only belong on the battlefield. How much compensation each gun fetches depends on the model, from hundreds to thousands of dollars. The deadline is October 30th. As of that time, any assault-style guns will be illegal. And even though most police services are not taking part in the program, Campbell says there will always be options to surrender firearms.
And I think I can confidently speak on behalf of every police organization in the province of Ontario. If someone wants to turn a firearm in, a police agency will take that firearm.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Local health researchers are touting a new pill developed here in London, which they say shows promise in treating several kinds of cancer. Sean Irvin has more on the pill's potential and its key ingredient.
Inside this lab at the London Health Sciences Centre Research Institute, medical investigators are once again turning human waste into human hope for kidney cancer patients. The premise is a simple one. Microbes of fecal matter taken from healthy donors are compressed into a pill and ingested. The healthy poop then prompts microorganisms inside the patient to fight cancer.
Now you have a far improved immune response that can go out and attack cancer cells.
In advanced kidney cancer patients, the team also found that poop pills reduce the severe side effects of life-extending immunotherapy.
So with the poop pills, we're able to decrease the side effects of in these patients, and they were able to still respond to the treatment. So that was very neat to see.
Before fecal transplant pills were developed at Lawson Research Institute, as many as 50% of kidney cancer patients were unable to withstand the impact of immunotherapy. Yet in the clinical trial of 20, only one participant experienced serious side effects, with researchers reporting a 50 to 60% reduction in negative symptoms for all participants. The result improved quality of life and gave some patients a chance at a longer one.
They want to live longer, but they also want to live better. So by not having a lot of side effects of these treatments with the poop pills, they are able to have a better quality of life.
The findings are the latest in a growing list of studies that show that poop pills are making a difference in the fight against multiple types of cancer. Already, poop pills have been shown to improve and in some cases extend the lives of small samples of pancreatic, skin, and breast cancer patients. Dr. Malecki hopes a broader trial of 160 lung patients will show similar benefits. In the meantime, the team keeps working to help those fighting kidney cancer.
Here, obviously, it's a little too early to talk about survival for our patients, but our hope is that we would see the same trend.
Should all go well, it will be at least 5 more years of testing before poop pills are widely available. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A Vancouver-based adventurer originally from London is preparing to row across an ocean. With more on his mission and the cause he wants to support, here's Lawrence Stallone.
For rower Kyle Wills, every stroke forward comes with pain, but that discomfort serves as a reminder of why he's on the water.
Back in 2024, my best friend, who I had grown up with for the last 30 years, was diagnosed with an astrocytoma, which is a cancerous brain tumor. And I just thought that what better time to raise awareness and raise money for the cause like that.
Wills is preparing to row across the Atlantic Ocean, alone and unsure when the next wave will hit. A reality for those fighting a brain tumor.
A lot of our community members face overwhelming odds and they have to demonstrate resilience and determination day to day.
Wills, originally from London, Ontario, will row 4,800 kilometers from the Canary Islands to Antigua in the Caribbean.
I just had that gut feeling of this is the next thing. This is what you need to do.
The money raised will go towards the Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada and Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital.
Every child should have the opportunity to have, a healthy, carefree childhood, have fun with their friends, explore the world in ways that I got to.
It allows us to fund research grants and education awards that are really, our goal with those is to find a cure so that nobody needs to face this disease.
The journey is part of the world's toughest Row Atlantic Ocean Challenge, beginning on December 12th.
So I just took the leap and I just leapt into it.
5,000 kilometers all the way across the Atlantic. Thank you so much.
So as Wills sets off for the challenge of a lifetime, he holds his friend close to his heart. Both on different journeys, but neither with shortcuts. Only the courage to keep going, even if the shore is out of sight. Lawrence Stallone, CTV News.
When we come back, a London night with tropical origins, his journey from the Caribbean to NHL prospect.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. It's the Tee Up with Brent Lael. And Brent, what better time of the year to start thinking about springtime vibes and baseball?
Yeah, we can dream about spring, can't we? I've got some exclusive news for you as well, Carlyle. London's Adam Hall has confirmed to CTV he will be part of the roster for the upcoming World Baseball Classic in March. It was a call Adam Hall was dreaming of.
Greg Hamilton happened to give me a call one night and said, hey, if you can get healthy, we'd have a spot for you on the bench.
The Londoner is headed to play for Canada at the World Baseball Classic.
I was really excited to hear the news for that. It's good to get back with Canada. It's been a little while. I know there's been a couple of events I've had the opportunity to play for, but just hasn't worked out in terms of the professional season and everything. So, yeah, just a team seeing that you're there and healthy, I mean, that's always a good option.
The last time he suited up for his country was as a grade 12 student on the junior national team. The minor league free agent who split time between Double and Triple-A last season is currently working his way back from a torn meniscus.
Had a knee surgery that I've been rehabbing and just kind of ramping up now. In terms of talking to teams, I mean, minor league free agency is pretty tough for position players.
He'll hope to use the WBC as a springboard to a contract. He's ramping up training at Centerfield Sports, and then next month, he'll wear the maple leaf.
March 1st is our report for kind of a bit of an early camp. I think there's a couple exhibition games down in Florida and then to Puerto Rico from there.
And sticking with baseball, Brent, the London Majors roster is starting to come together.
It seems like every day they're announcing a new player, and today they announced the signing of Roberto Caro, an outfielder who's played as high as Double-A in the Cubs organization. He joins key pitchers Victor Payano, Skylar Janice, and Travis Keys, as well as catcher Eduardo Diolio as some of the notable roster players. In St. Thomas, the Stars are gearing up for a big night at the Joe Thornton Centre this Friday. It's their annual Fill the Rink game, where our local radio station gives away a number of free tickets. They're taking on the Sarja Legionnaires. It's been years since this club was this competitive, and they want the community support.
It's a good young team to watch. We've played some exciting hockey the last little bit. It's been high scoring, so it's kind of a coach's nightmare, but it's exciting to watch, I think, for fans, for sure.
We're a team that embodies the community. We get along super well. We all love coming to the rink, playing hockey for each other and with each other. And I think it's a good example of St. Thomas. It's a community that gets along really well, and they love the team, so we'd love to be able to put out a good performance for them every night.
Meanwhile, the Junior Stars team is doing something special this weekend.
Yeah, on yesterday's news, we told you about 12-year-old girl from St. Thomas in need of a liver transplant. On Sunday, the 11U Minor Stars team will be holding a fundraising game to bring awareness to the Ontario Transplant Association. Representatives from the Transplant Association will be on hand, and the Junior Stars will be selling bracelets, cookies, and taking donations, with proceeds going to Lily Wag, who is at Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto awaiting a transplant.
And finally, Brent, the London Knight, who is on NHL draft radars in his unique path to that position.
Yeah, Jackson Cover didn't even start playing hockey until he was 14 years old. 3 years later, he's projected to be one of the top picks in the NHL draft.
Left side along with Will Nickel. Big good heart of the neck. Red shot! Judy Culver scores!
My name's Jackson Cover, and I play left wing for the London Knights.
Coming off a hat trick, the best offensive game of his career, Jackson Cover is now the Knights' leading scorer.
As Dale's been trying to teach me all year, with a good defensive game, we'll bring offense.
A projected top 3-round pick in this summer's NHL draft, Cover has been working on playing all 200 feet, something NHL teams desire.
I want him to have the puck more. If you're down in the D zone, you create turnovers down there, you have the puck more, you get to go forward with it more and try to use your offense, which we all see his ability that way. So it's just trying to get him to make sure he gets more ice time. He's out there all the time in those situations to get the puck.
His journey to the OHL and to the Knights is an improbable one. Growing up in the Cayman Islands, he didn't even play ice hockey until he was 14 years old. 3 years later, he's a top NHL prospect.
I grew up playing roller hockey since I was 3 years old in the Cayman Islands. And then when I was 12 years old, I moved to St. Andrews College. I'd say the hardest change was the rules. So at my first ever practice or tryout, I didn't know what an icing or offside was. So that was the probably biggest difference. But then after that, I'd say it didn't come easy. The skating's a lot different. But then once I started putting my mind to it and just started working really hard, I found a love for it.
With the Knights making moves at the trade deadline, he lost a few teammates who helped him get his feet wet in the OHL. Now, it's his time to take the torch and skate with it.
We're missing a big scoring aspect, and hopefully I can stand up and be that guy.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Julie Edgerton is with me on the desk now on a day where we kind of got a little bit of a mix. We saw some sunshine, which has been nice to get those little breaks because we also got some snow, and that's been pretty much the big story we've had for a while now.
Yeah, definitely. More snow, more cold, much of the same. But I have some good news. There's more sunshine in the extended forecast than we've seen for a while. The snow squalls are going to start to wind down, but we still have some strong bands of snow moving through parts of Bruce County tonight and Grey, and one of the bands is expected to drift towards Huron County. So accumulating snow north of London, a couple centimeters expected in London. So generally trace amounts of snow in and around the area, but enough, of course, the roads still quite slippery. -10 our high today. Flurries continuing off Lake Huron this evening. Although the heaviest snow squalls are in through Grey and Bruce County, we've really seen some strong accumulations through the afternoon. Cold polar air continues to envelop the Great Lakes Basin, and this results in flurries. Lake effect snow continuing across the area. So as we take a look at the satellite radar, there are some big breaks in the cloud cover, and that's going to be the weather story in the coming days. We don't have any big weather systems coming in. We just have cold air across the Great Lakes. That will give us some flurries and some snow squalls as we head into tonight through Grey and Bruce County. But watch as this sinks towards Huron County. So in this snow squall, expecting about 5 to 10 centimeters. So areas in Huron County will see the snowfall. You can see it through northern Perth as well. So expecting about 2 to 4 centimeters in northern Perth County. And then as we head into your Thursday, one squall coming right down the lake. And again, that pushes right through Huron County. So expect heavier accumulations in that area and blowing snow on area roads. Let's take a look at the next 24-hour model. I feel a bit like a broken record this week. 4 centimeters in through Goderich, 5 as we head toward Owen Sound. But you can see the areas that light up in blue. That's where the snowfall amount will hit about 10 centimeters. The rest of the region experiencing just trace amounts of snowfall, flurries on the way. The coldest core of air will arrive as we head into Friday. So that's when the temperatures will be bottoming out and into the weekend. So some bitterly cold temperatures holding on. Now we are out of that cold weather warning. However, wind chills tonight still feeling close to -20 to -25. -16 as we head into tomorrow afternoon, and -14 with a chance of flurries. So temperatures are set to be very cold Thursday night into Friday morning, with overnight lows from -20 to -23. Still the chance for flurries over the next couple of days, so still the off-lake flurries. And then as we head into your Saturday, a nice mix of sun and cloud. Sunday looks beautiful, mainly sunny and -7. It'll just be very cold first thing in the morning. For Groundhog Day, about a 40% chance of flurries, the high -5, and temperatures are set to climb close to where we should be, -6 to -5 early next week. Midwestern Ontario, snowfall accumulating. Grey and Bruce County, you can see another 10 centimeters. Huron County, I'm expecting another 10 centimeters for you tonight and into tomorrow. Once again, blowing snow is an issue on the roads. As we head into your Friday, snow squalls continue. Daytime highs from -12 to -14. Weekend looks nice and calm. As we head further north, we're going to shut down the lake effect snow and just leaving about a 30% chance of flurries. Sunday looks beautiful across southern Ontario. Daytime high a -7, and then heading into Monday, some flurries. Tuesday, -5, and we'll hit -6. So all eyes will be on Wyerton, Willie, for a Groundhog Day. It's always a festive time for many as we head towards Wyerton. So we'll be keeping an eye on that forecast for sure, and hoping for early spring predictions. So Carlyle, as we head into tonight, once again, those wind chills in that -20 to -25 range. We do have lots of sunshine, though, in the extended forecast.
I'll take it. Thanks very much, Julie. Still ahead, holding the line on interest rates, the Bank of Canada's latest decision citing economic stability.
If you are tired of this freezing cold weather, I have an idea to pitch to you tomorrow morning that includes Wyerton, Millie, and Groundhog Day next week. Also, don't forget, tomorrow morning at 7:10, another chance to win a $100 OLG voucher in Crosstown. Good luck.
Bank of Canada officials held their key interest rates steady today, their first such decision of the new year. However, as Scott Hurst reports, where the rate goes from here is unclear, with a lot riding on decisions coming out of the White House.
Uncertainty over U.S. trade policy and a renewed threat of tariffs continue to loom large over decisions by Canada's central bank. Firstly, the bank is keeping its benchmark interest rate steady at 2.25%. This was widely anticipated by economists, with the central bank saying economic output has remained largely in line with its recent projections despite U.S. tariffs.
There wasn't really a compelling reason either way, especially when you take into account that inflation, it seems kind of anchored in the Bank of Canada's target range right now.
But really, it is our relationship with the U.S. that continues to fuel a whole lot of uncertainty. According to the Bank of Canada, the economy is adjusting to the trade shock from our southern neighbors so far, and it is expecting the economy to grow modestly in the near term. However, U.S. trade restrictions, tariffs, and questions about the outcome of the upcoming review of the North American Free Trade Pact, known as CUSMA, continue to disrupt growth north of the border and create havoc in trying to predict the future impact on Canadians.
Uncertainty around our forecast is heightened. The range of possible outcomes is wider than usual. U.S. trade policy remains unpredictable, and geopolitical risks are elevated.
According to a new survey out today from the Angus Reid Institute, Canadians as a whole, too, appear on edge with what's coming out of the White House. Anxiety about the Canada-U.S. relationship has 4 in 5 respondents worried about the year ahead. So amidst all the trade uncertainty and a hazy outlook for the Canadian economy, many eyes are now turned to the Bank of Canada's next interest rate announcement coming in mid-March. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
A warning for anyone planning on selling a used car privately. Scammers are showing up, distracting the seller so they can tamper with the vehicle, making it seem like there's a serious problem. As Pat Foran reports, one recent instance of this was all caught on camera.
I feel violated.
Mark Rafi and Carol Crawford of Paris, Ontario were selling their 2016 Hyundai Santa Fe. They listed it for $7,000 on Facebook Marketplace. Two people came at night to see the vehicle. One man wanted to inspect the trunk.
And he was looking underneath the mats and looking for the spare tire and had me completely occupied. So I was not aware of what the other person was doing, who had gone around to the car, opened up the hood.
It's believed after opening the hood, the man sprayed oil throughout the engine compartment. When the potential buyer started to go for a test drive, he stopped and backed into the driveway.
The other gentleman who was hanging around the driveway squatted down and sprayed or inserted something liquid into the tailpipe.
After a short drive, they returned, and smoke was pouring off the engine and out of the exhaust.
There's all this white smoke coming out, and the other guy who was in the driveway comes running around, says, look, he says, there's oil everywhere.
Rafi says the two men told him the engine had blown and the car was worthless.
It was like, oh my gosh, something must have blown because there's oil everywhere.
He was asking $7,000 for the SUV, but was convinced to take $1,000 just to get rid of it. The two men paid in cash, took an extra set of tires, and left. Rafi told his wife what happened. That's when they checked their security video.
We saw everything. I said, we've been scammed. I said, this is a scam.
This is a case of seller beware.
An auto fraud investigator says criminals will put oil on the engine and in the tailpipe to make the car smoke and appear to have serious mechanical problems.
They really presented a convincing story to the owner that his car has blown the engine.
Rafi is upset he was scammed out of $6,000 and that he trusted the two men.
To be taken like this, I don't know how somebody sleeps at night after doing this.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index finished higher, helped by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX is up 80 points. In New York, the Dow added 12. The Nasdaq gained 40. The Canadian dollar climbed 1/4 cent today. On commodity markets, another big day for gold, up more than $200 an ounce. Oil up 82 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, Canada's flag bearers announced for the opening ceremonies of the upcoming Winter Games. Welcome back. It's been a harsh winter across much of the country with plenty of snow so far and more expected. When it comes to seasonal storms, weather researchers say the fact they're happening more often and with more intensity is no coincidence. Paul Hollingsworth reports.
92-year-old Jean Heckman will not be denied her daily walk, even on slippery sidewalks.
It's nice to get out of the house, but I don't want to fall.
But Heckman's outings may soon be on hold because of more snow in the long-range forecast.
Well, you have to put up with it.
Retired Environment Canada meteorologist Jim Abraham studies the weather daily, sifting through scientific data.
When you see extreme events occurring, it's fascinating.
Abraham says recent severe winter storms impacting many areas of Canada are directly linked to the effects of climate change.
We're 1.5 degrees warmer on average around the globe. The globe now holds 10% more moisture on average.
Which means rainfall and snow amounts have become heavier than normal across all seasons.
There can be at least 10% more, if not even higher amounts, higher extremes in precipitation.
According to Abraham, the Arctic is warming more than 2 times faster than the equator, which affects the jet stream, causing extremes in weather patterns, like the one that dumped a lot of snow on southern Ontario.
When you're in a heat and drought pattern, it may be lasting longer because of climate change, and when you're in a cold, damp pattern, it tends to last longer, or the risk is that it lasts longer because of this meandering of the jet stream.
This severe weather has brought packed snow, a lot of it. When the warm weather returns in the spring, the snow will melt, run off, and be absorbed into the ground, which is good news for the areas that experienced extreme drought last summer. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
A magnitude 3.7 earthquake struck southern Ontario late last night. According to Earthquakes Canada, it happened just before 11 p.m. with the epicenter located about 20 kilometers southeast of Orillia. Roughly 2,200 people reported feeling the quake, anywhere from Kitchener to Toronto, Belleville, and Niagara Falls. There have been no reports of any damage or injuries connected to the earthquake. Tomorrow on CTV News, a major bust, local police forces, and a joint news conference detailing weapon and drug seizures. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
The chance of flurries continues as we head into your Thursday with snow squalls in parts of Midwestern Ontario. Wind chills tonight, feeling close to minus 25. Thanks to Sophie Skaith for sending this photo in. She said the deer were taking shelter in her backyard. The weekend features colder than normal temperatures, with overnight lows dropping down between minus 20 and minus 24.
A pair of Canadian companies are caught up in controversy because of their ties to U.S. immigration enforcement. As Andrew Johnson reports, company officials are weighing their public perception against their profits.
This Virginia warehouse is owned by Vancouver billionaire Jim Pattison, but it may soon be property of ICE. The U.S. government is planning to buy the building to use as an ICE processing facility, sparking backlash.
You have a moral duty to stand in the interest of humanity and to cut your ties with ICE immediately.
BC's Green Party leader is calling for shoppers to boycott Pattison's grocery stores, including Save on Foods.
As Canadians, I think we need to stand in solidarity with our American neighbors who are at risk of violence every day and do everything in our power to pressure these corporations.
Another BC-based business, tech company Hootsuite, is taking heat for providing social media services to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. A protest is planned for Friday.
We've seen it before with Tesla, with Spotify, with Jimmy Kimmel. Public pressure changes behavior. So our message is essentially that the public is watching, and you will be remembered for how you chose to act in this moment.
One expert says the question of whether companies should back away from business with the U.S. is not a simple one.
There are lots of Canadians who don't agree with a lot of the actions of Mr. Trump. Do we sever all ties? Lots of Canadians have voted with their pocketbooks not to visit the United States, but that doesn't mean we still don't sell them oil.
Ryder says one potential strategy for these businesses is to keep quiet and hope the backlash blows over. CTV News has reached out to both the Jim Pattison Group and Hootsuite for comment. We've not received a response. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
For the first time, a woman will lead the Church of England. Sarah Mullally was confirmed as the Archbishop of Canterbury during a ceremony today. She's a former Bishop of London and is now the spiritual leader of millions of Anglicans around the world. Her appointment was announced almost 4 months ago. Her predecessor had announced his resignation back in 2024. The church first ordained women as priests in 1994 and bishops in 2015. Canadian Olympic officials have announced our flag bearers for next week's opening ceremony. Olympic champions Michael Kingsbury and Marielle Thompson will carry the flag on February 6th. Kingsbury is a 3-time Olympic medalist in moguls and the first male mogul skier to win 3 Olympic golds. Thompson is from Whistler, BC, winning gold in her Olympic debut back in 2014 and a silver in 2022. Finally tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs honored a club legend last night, marking the 50th anniversary of Darryl Sittler's famous 10-point game.
And now, number 27, your captain, Darryl Sittler.
Sittler scored 6 goals and recorded 4 assists against the Boston Bruins on February 7th, 1976. With more on that record-setting performance and what it still means to him, here's Sean Leathong.
And Sittler has a break. It's a night that solidified a Leafs legend. February 7th, 1976, Darryl Sittler setting an NHL record with 10 points in one game, a record that soon will have stood for 50 years.
I'll be honest with you, after that game, I never really realized the magnitude of it.
We sat down with Sittler to talk about that night 50 years ago as the team honors the accomplishment. The 75-year-old says back then he didn't know what was happening until the team's statistician approached after the second period when they were winning 8-4.
He comes over to me and says, Darryl, you've got 7 points. If you get one more, you tie Rocket Richard's record.
The record held by Rocket Richard had been 8 points. Sittler would score 3 goals in the third period, making his total 6 goals and 4 assists. And he says there was something magical about the game, including the time of the goal that broke the record.
And I broke Rocket Richard's record. He wore number 9, and I'm number 27, and it happened at 9:27. So what are the chances of those numbers coming together?
Sittler's place firmly cemented in Legends Row for tonight's game.
He's just a class guy, 24/7. 365 days a year. In my case, I've been with him for 50 years.
This would be the stick that he would use in the first 2 periods of that game.
While it has been hard to authenticate, collector Mark Farah says this stick comes with small notes showing the date and events of the game, also matched through tape and photos of that night, having been pulled out of use because Sittler scored his 150th goal that night as well.
I get chills to think about what it would have been like in that moment and that time, and being a part of that crowd and the excitement.
12 other players have reached 8 points in a game, Gretzky and Lemieux included, but this record now seems unbreakable. When it comes to his own memories, Sittler does have one goal that sticks out.
I was coming down the boards, and I shot, and I went in behind the net. I hit my back up against the boards, and, you could see the smile and emotion on my face.
And now, number 27, your captain, Darryl Sittler.
A night and a record standing the test of time. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.